I'm in the inner sanctum. This is Tuff Gong, and I'm with Damian Junior Gong Marley for the most eagerly anticipated new album in years. We can't tell you how much we're waiting to hear the Stony Hill album.
Thank you.
But before we go any further, this house, this residence, this studio must have very special memories for you.
Yes, lots. First of all, like you said, this is where my father used to live. So this is the original Tuff Gong, even though we now have another studio called Tuff Gong down Marcus Garvey Drive. This is a studio that he built. And then, of course, years later, my brothers Ziggy and Steve refurbished the place. And this is where my very first album was recorded in here also and mixed in here. Along with Halfway Tree album, we did a lot of the work of that in here. And just the overall building it's a house where my father used to live. My mom was a tenant here. And being here was how she met him and all of that stuff. So for me personally, it has a lot of my stories embedded here because my mom and my uncle used to live on that side of the building and were tenants from when Chris had owned it until when my father took it over and so on. And like my mom would tell me stories that he used to come down the back step around there and come and knock on her door, bring a mango as a gift and that kind of thing, So the whole place kind of have it's, a whole history for me.
And you were saying a moment ago, before the studio was refurbished by your brothers, this was the drum booth.
Yes, this was the drum room that we're in here now. Back in those days, of course, live instrument. We didn't have drum machines and that kind of thing back in those days. So everything was live. So how they had built the studio originally was with that in mind, that they would need space for live musicians. And then when Ziggy them refurbished it, of course, boards got bigger and technology and all this kind of thing. So they flipped it around, where there is now a drum room, and here is one also, and this is a control room. So it's not the same configuration as the original.
Talking of live musicians, you tour the world extensively, and your stage shows are phenomenal.
Thank you.
No, really, they are. And that energy that you generate with your band came very close to home with us at the BBC, because 3 years ago, you threw the doors open at Tuff Gong Studio because we didn't know you were coming. We thought we were going to record something with Sham, and you arrived and did the duet. Yeah. And that was absolutely amazing. And you brought your band with you. Yeah. Your band is very important to you.
Yes, they are. We've been touring together for forever. And it's a big part of, it's like extended family, We live on the road, you get to know people real well. And of course, everyone is involved in the music. When even in my recordings and stuff like that, a lot of my songs start out with us as a band jamming. And I'm just singing melodies on top of, little grooves and stuff like that until the songs become more serious. So, it's definitely, we're a team. And I happen to be the spokesperson for the team,
We eagerly anticipate Stony Hill. It's been 11 years since your previous album. You obviously recorded an album with Nas, and you recorded an album with Mick Jagger. But this album, Stony Hill, is a very important album. We know of your attention to detail. We know you're a perfectionist. Are you happy with it now? Will you ever be happy with it?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about where it is now. I've come to peace with where it is now.
The reason I ask that, people may not want, that's a strange question to ask, is because we understood it was coming out in November. Then we were told, no, Damian wants to do some more work on it. Mm-hmm. So that suggests that you are fastidious.
Yeah. We wanted, when in November, I felt that we wanted a few more up-tempo kind of, a few more energetic tracks, and hence the track Roar. So in November, we didn't have Roar then.
Oh, really?
No. And then, after saying, I want to revisit a few things, Roar came up. So that was kind of the intention at that time. But like I said, no, I'm good with where it's at now,
Nail Pond Cross.
Yeah. Well, Nail Pond Cross is using Solidarity, which has always been one of my favorite songs, and I really love the beat and all that kind of thing, And then, of course, the whole topic of the song being, judge not especially before you judge yourself. I love what we did with the video. I don't know if you've seen the video.
We've all seen the video, yes.
Thank you. Well, the visual, I really like how that kind of brought the message to life in terms of what I was saying in the song. And, that was been like the first official, you could say, song from the album.
Yeah. Preempted by Caution, another Black Uhuru track.
Yeah. Well, all right. You're right. Caution is really the first official. You're true. Right. So that, again, is using a Black Uhuru sample, Whole World is Africa.
Yeah.
Again, that one too, I really like the lyrics of that one, what it's really saying. The fact that, especially here in Jamaica, when you look at it, the police and the rude boys are basically, all pretty poor, None of them are really wealthy or really well off, you know what I mean? And yet at the same time, they play that cat and mouse game, Meanwhile, the rest of society lives their lives and carries on, So that's kind of what that song is really about to a level. And, again, I like the lyrics of that one.
It's a powerful, powerful track. Another track that I've really enjoyed, and it's great, I mean, for those of us who've been craving the new album, it's great that you've unleashed 4 tracks. Everybody wants to be somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is quite a different structure, isn't it?
That song is a good indicator for a few more songs to come from the album that perhaps you're not familiar with yet. That kind of reflects a bit more of me trying to do a bit more singing than I usually would, and also going a bit more into roots, like real acoustic roots music, 'Cause, traditionally over the years, my albums have been more of a hybrid style of thing. Well, I have a few tracks on this one now. When you listen to it, you hear like really that's like the original Wailers kind of sound, acoustic drum, everything acoustic, So Everybody Wanna Be Somebody Again is a good ambassador for those tracks that are on the album to come, where that has that acoustic vibe,
Which leads me to ask the question about the other tracks on the album that we haven't heard. Can you talk about maybe a couple of them?
Yeah, for sure. The first track that my voice appears on the album is called Here I Come Again, which takes from Dennis Brown's Here I Come Again. We've sampled his song. And it's kind of like, kind of basically saying, hey, I'm here I am once again, here I'm back, basically. And kind of comments a little bit about what's been going on in the reggae industry then, popular reggae music. We lead into Neil Pancras, we go from there into Roar, which you're familiar with also. From Roar, we head into a song called Medication, which is a song, basically a tribute to Herb. With myself and Steve as a combination on that one. And we're kind of, in the beginning I'm singing about it, but it sounds almost like I'm speaking to a woman until slowly you realize that I'm actually speaking about marijuana, And we're going to Time Travel.
Time Travel.
Yes.
Now, I did hear that. That is a powerful, powerful track.
Thank you.
Perhaps another track you could talk about from the album.
Another one that I would like to talk about is a song that I have named Living It Up, that is speaking about, basically it kind of, it almost sums up even the title of the album and why I call the album Stony Hill. And the song says, my daddy made it out of the ghetto. Believe in your dreams, don't let go, I'm the ghetto dream. Being that my father's a ghetto man and he has children who are born and grew uptown. I think that's what every man in the ghetto here wants. That's the dream of every ghetto man, And that is what that song is talking about, which is really a big part of why I named the album Stony Hill, is to reflect the uptown part of my history. Still making a connection from jam rock, stone, that kind of, that whole play on words and all that kind of thing. And even trying to, I guess you could say, hush a few critics who thought that when I was coming with jam rock, I was, why is this uptown kid speaking up so much about street life and ghetto people and all this kind of thing? Like, well, if you check the history, you know what I mean, and you check the whole thing, I don't think, so that is really why we named the album Stony Hill. And again, that track in particular kind of sums up the title of the album and the whole idea behind it.
We eagerly anticipate the album's release sometime this summer.
Yeah, yes. Early summer. We're looking for like April, May.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a direct date as yet, but we're looking for April, May at this point in time.